Good afternoon. I'm very pleased today to be here on one level, but on another level, I don't want to be here with workers who've lost their job. This year's been a tough year. 2020's been one like no other. But one of the things that we've seen is that Australians have looked after each other. We've banded together, made sacrifices in the interests of our families, our neighbours, our broader community, and indeed the nation. At the same time that that's happened, though, too many Australians have been left behind. We know that Australians were left behind on JobKeeper payments. We know that Australians were left behind when it came to industry packages. And we know that these Australians are being left behind. They've done nothing wrong, just worked hard for their families to put food on the table. They've worked hard for Qantas and for that great Australian business as well. They've been loyal, and throughout the country they've made a difference. But what we're seeing at the moment is too many people being left behind. As much as Josh Frydenberg will get out there and was all cheery and self-congratulatory yesterday, at the same time this week we learned about 2,000 Qantas workers losing their jobs. And these aren't tasks that are disappearing. These are just tasks that are being contracted out. Permanent jobs disappearing. One of the other lessons of this pandemic is that we need more secure work. We need more permanent work. Casualisation, contracting out, privatisation has all had an impact on the pandemic, on the health of workers and indeed the health of others as well. So I want to pay tribute to these men and women who are joining us here today, say that Labor stands with them. We will always stand up for jobs and will continue to stand up for secure work. We don't want to return to what was there. We want to learn the lessons of this pandemic, that too many Australians are being forced into insecure work, that they were the first people to lose their jobs. And now, as we go through a period in which companies have received substantial support from taxpayers, we're seeing workers being left behind. I want to ask Michael Caine from the Transport Workers Union, who stood up with these workers, to make some comments now, and then we'll hear from some workers.
Thanks, Anthony. There are 2,000 Australian families who are absolutely devastated as a result of a decision, which we now know was a premeditated decision by Qantas management earlier this week, to outsource their jobs, jobs that are still required to be done by Qantas, jobs that are now going to go to substandard companies, many of whom have been found to be in breach of our laws, our labour laws, our workplace health and safety laws. A spear has been put through these families' hearts. These are families who have worked for Qantas for up to 30 years. These are families that have literally built the spirit of Australia. On one hand on that spear, of course, is Qantas management. Qantas management who have no excuse for this action. They've received JobKeeper and are still receiving JobKeeper payments right up until the 31st of March. JobKeeper, of course, the social contract that Scott Morrison put in place, designed to keep workers connected with their employer until the virus passed. Financial support to ensure that occurred. Neither is there a financial reason. Qantas has just announced that it is on the cusp again of breaking even. And we know that this contracting out is a sham now because these workers have just gone through 8 weeks of the most humiliating process of having to bid for their own jobs. And at the end of that bid, with the assistance of Ernst & Young, they put together the most competitive bid, on average the cheapest bid, which obviously came with the most expertise and the most experience. So this decision is mystifying, and it is definitely a decision that the Australian community should not accept. We'll be calling on Scott Morrison today in a meeting with Michael McCormack this afternoon with these workers to attach conditions to JobKeeper now to prevent this contracting out. These workers are the spirit of Australia. They have built this company. They do not deserve this treatment. The other hand on that spear through their hearts is the hand of this government. Government inaction, government failure to attach conditions to JobKeeper, which has permitted Qantas to essentially profiteer and use COVID as cover for breaking the hearts of the workers that made this company great.